with AEW Dynamite just going off the air. Welcome to the madness. It's Wednesday Night Madness on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It's Google MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good buddy Anthony Florio. We are hoping for the presence of Michael Bullock, but my God, what a night we had here, Anthony. Unbelievable couple of days as it pertains to not only AEW but NXT, as we had some groundbreaking announcements that basically spanned through the 2 nights. And on top of that, for all you fine folks as well, there's actually a special Mikey's Mindset because tonight at 3 a.m. in Tokyo, Japan, the final of the G1 Climax 31 is going down. We have our finalists tonight. The winner will get a guaranteed shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship of the World at January 4 at Wrestle Kingdom. We will set that final tonight on this show. But first, as always, we start off with NXT, and here we go. NXT Heatwave was the order of the night. And guys, we started it off with a banger. It was Carmelo Hayes putting the NXT North American Championship on the line against Giovanni Vinci, the winner of the bout, in 11 minutes and 56 seconds. And still, the NXT North American Champion, the champ, the A, the one, my boy Carmelo Hayes. Great match, great opener for the show. 3.5-star battle. Giovanni Vinci really gets a lot of nod and a lot of credit for a great performance. Absolutely opened up a great matchup, incredible battle. But again, it was Carmelo showing why he is the best in NXT today. And without a doubt, the biggest and brightest star of that roster right now. Anything he does, he touches into gold. Giovanni Vinci just being in the ring. Of course, he had his incredible match with Andre Chase, and that really stemmed his stock rising to last night. These two men absolutely put on a clinic, and for me, one of the best fights of the night, and a great tone setter for the rest of the evening. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
That's exactly right, MF. A great tone setter indeed. That's how every event should start. With a match that you know is going to get the crowd pumped up and set the tone for the rest of the night. I couldn't think of a more perfect match for that than this. All right. I'll give it 3.5. But the thing is, I have a small bit of constructive criticism. It's not, it's not that I'm going to go on a rant or anything, but I'm just telling you, I'm just going to tell it like it is, like I always do. The match ended just as it was really getting going. Two of the best athletes in the business held a bit back. That's not to say it was anything less than good, but these two could have done something special with at least 5 more minutes. Given how much help the A champion needed to escape with his title, it wouldn't be a surprise if there was a rematch soon. Giovanni Vinci has been stellar in the ring lately and has earned a title run if the stars can align for him. Mello caught Vinci in the ropes for an inverted springboard leg drop, then caught Mello with a super kick, but he could not get the win off either. And the Italian hit a crazy running diving cross body onto Mello and Trick, and then hit a springboard moonsault in the ring, but Trick got the A champion's foot on the rope, like we've been seeing with Miz and Ciampa on Raw lately. But still, 3.5 stars, great jump off. But Michael Bullock, how much higher could this match have gone if they had been given at least 5 more minutes?
I think, it could have been a much higher rating. But 3.5 stars, it was a very good match for the amount of time it did get. But basically, I enjoyed it. This was definitely a great kickoff to this NXT Heat Wave. I mean, yeah, I definitely would have loved to see him get at least 5 more minutes, but I'm not I'm not that upset about it as you are about it, Florio, because I mean, either way, it's still a good match, no matter how you slice it. So, 3.5 stars, it's yours, Fletch.
And then some interesting parts broke out. Okay, it started off obviously with the Diamond Mine, and there was a little bit of a promo by, it was Julius, it was Brutus, it was Roderick and Damon Camp, and it looked like the Creeds were basically about to accuse Roderick Strong of insubordination. He talked about the video and talked about a moment where Tony D'Angelo and Roderick Strong kind of gave like a head nod or some kind of thing. Basically, one of the Creeds got that flying knee to the face. Before anything could even happen, where the accusations could start flying, we had an invasion. And boys, you may not know them, but I know them really well. It was Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, and Wolfgang. Boys, this is the team known as Gallus. They're not only from um they're not only from NXT UK, but they're from ICW. Insane Championship Wrestling. Mark Coffey and Wolfgang are former ICW World Heavyweight Champions. Joe Coffey is one of the best guys. The Coffey brothers were former ICW World Tag Team Champions. Wolfgang was a former ICW World Heavyweight Champion. And these guys have been running amok in NXT UK, and now they've crossed the pond to the United States and just laid out Diamond Mine. Oh, Anthony Florio. Let's just say I was marking the F out when I saw Gallus on my TV last night. I know you boys were like, who the hell are these guys? I know these guys. Destruction is the name of the game with Gallus.
Before I give my thought, I just want to say, damn it, MF, how much do I love it when you get hyped. Oh, that was, wow. Ho, ho, ho. That's a table setter, and that's why he's our hype man forever and always on this show. That was freaking awesome. All right, all kidding aside, let's get to the business at hand here. All right, I'll admit it. I don't follow NXT UK as much as I should, but I do know one of the Coffees. I think it was Joe, because I think he might have done some work on an NXT or some other thing that I got into. I don't know, but oh boy. This was a solid build-up segment for Diamond Mine, even if the Creed brothers seemed far too slow to question the obviously untrustworthy Roderick Strong. Roddy does not need to be working with Tony D'Angelo to be bad for the group. Gallus, their arrival is welcome for an NXT tag team division that needs depth. Joe and Mark Coffey are proven in-ring talent, while Wolfgang is reliable. NXT UK may be slowly losing more talent, but at least those stars are finding a new home quickly. And later in the night, Gallus interrupted Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen as they were doing a backstage interview with Mackenzie Mitchell and challenged them for an NXT UK tag team title match next week on 2.0. And I think we're going to get it. So, it may not be long before we see gold around the waist of this dominant faction. So, not much more to say here. I'm not too crazy about I'm usually not crazy about promo segments or in-ring segments during special events, but in this one case, I'll make an exception because we got a major payoff with the surprise appearance of Gallus, and I don't know what else there is to say that hasn't been said already. MF pretty much hyped the you-know-what out of it, so I'm not even going to try to top it, so not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, I mean, you heard the tone of MF's voice. You heard how he hyped these boys. The way he hyped them, business has damn sure picked up in the tag team.
And I'm not even gonna try to top what MF how he hyped them. I mean, he's our freaking hype guy. I get chills when he does that. But yeah, this dominant faction certainly made a statement in their first U.S. appearance, and they were dominant in NXT UK. You bring them on here, whew, business has definitely picked up, and they took advantage of Diamond Mine and what it looked like. I mean, and I'll say this, boys, I think Diamond Mine's on the verge of a breakup because I mean, I think Roddy Strong is going to turn on him, and yeah, and I think the Creed brothers are going to go on their own. So, and look, I mean, I don't think they really need they really don't need Roderick Strong. I mean, I think they're fine on their own. So we'll wait and see how it goes. But man, oh man, but this faction here, oof, I cannot wait to see what they bring here. So Fletch, it is yours, man. Yeah, I cannot wait to see what they bring to the U.S.
Gallus is without a doubt one of the most dangerous and lethal groups. Because this was originally Mark Gallus's crew, and Mark Gallus is actually the leader of ICW. He's the one that runs the company. He's the Vince McMahon of ICW. He's the Tony Khan of ICW. What he brought to the table was he brought some of those guys. Anthony Grado is actually from ICW. And then a lot of the other guys that you've been watching, Kaylee freaking Ray is from ICW. So all these guys, and this is from Scotland. This is where their company is from. So they were from Scotland, and they have become one of the more premier companies in the United Kingdom, in the Europe. And that's why you see them on the WWE network, because of the fact that their shows are really good, and you've seen a lot of their guys that have been in that company has done a lot of work, and vice versa. They've actually sent some WWE guys to be a part of their shows. So when Triple H showed up at an ICW show one time with Pete Dunne, when Pete Dunne was the NXT, the United Kingdom champion, there was an episode of ICW where Mark Gallus was, they were talking about the show and everything else, and they were hyping it up. This was when NXT was in, I think it was in Liverpool, and they're like, you know what? Yeah. Pete Dunne was cutting a promo saying how cool it is to be with the ICW crowd and everything else, and he had the UK belt on his hand, and he's like, you know what? You know I'm not the only friend in WWE. You know that. And Mark Gallus is like, oh yeah, I do have friends in WWE. Triple H, come on out here. And the fans are like, what? Is this some kind of joke? No, it's not. Triple H shows up on an ICW show. The place goes bonkers. Mark out moment for the crowd. And as a matter of fact, the commentator himself, he was losing his mind. He's like, what the hell? Triple H in an ICW ring? I didn't think I would ever see the day this would happen. Oh, yes. Triple H in the building, This was when he was the Grand Poobah of NXT, and he even hyped it. He's like, "Yeah, we're doing a show not far from here. You guys we call it NXT." And the fans started chanting NXT. He's like, "Yeah, I'll like, come on, go ahead, guys. You can chant NXT, no problem. But I also want you to cheer for ICW too, because this company is really rising up in the ranks. And the thing is, you guys are kicking it. You guys are killing it. You guys are doing an unbelievable job. Some of the guys who used to come from WWE started in companies like this, like Drew Galloway, but we call him Drew McIntyre, Frugal Prince Devitt, which is known as Finn Balor. And there's been some other guys who came through. They had one time Mick Foley showed up. One time Kurt Angle wrestled at ICW. So yes, there is a connection between ICW and WWE. But the main thing was because of the fact that with ICW, they were able to bring some of these great guys. And all these guys that I've been talking about, that I've been mentioning, has gone on to have very good careers. Grado went over to Impact Wrestling. Yes, he was a comedy act, but he was getting over there. Then you have the Coffees. They've been getting over in NXT UK. Wolfgang is NXT UK. And as a matter of fact, there's some other guys who we haven't even talked about yet that has been under that ICW tree. And I'm telling you guys, go out of your way to go into the WWE, go to the WWE side of Peacock and look for ICW. There are a few events on that show. And let me tell you, you want some real good professional wrestling that has a certain edge to it, this company has it. So this is a company that I've been following for about 3 years now, and they've never, ever, ever let me down at all. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be wicked fun to see. So with that said, we move on along with this show. And the next thing that we did have, the next thing we had was the big one, the grudge fight. Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. Cora Jade wins. 11 minutes, 41 seconds. Anthony Florio, because this is the second fight of the night, I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about this one. This is yours. Jade knocks off Perez, 11:41.
3 to 3.25 stars for this. Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez have chemistry, and that came out in this match, especially once they got going. This was the best Cora Jade has looked in the ring. However, the finish was awkward, and it was a stunted end to a contest that never hit top gear. Jade using her weapon in front of the referee without a disqualification made no sense. Worse yet, it did not come off as a real end to the match. So this contest felt incomplete to me, even at 11 minutes in length. But I will give it 3 to 3.25 for the effort. And that's all there is to really say about it. I mean, good match. It was solid, but it was not overly spectacular. I was expecting a little more, but other than that, it was fine for what it was. I'll give it 3.25 for the effort. So, not much more to say. Michael Bullock, I suggest this feud won't be over for any. I don't think this feud is going to be ending anytime soon.
Oh, Cora Jade may have won the battle, but I think this feud between these two is far from over. But yeah, and I'll give it about 3.25. I mean, I was expected to see a little more out of this, but yeah, I mean, Cora Jade, I mean, she used the weapon right in front of the referee, and how the referee did not see that, you make a good point on that, Florio. It makes zero sense whatsoever. I mean, when you see that, the referee should call for a disqualification, but obviously that wasn't the case here. But yeah, like I just said, she may have won the battle, but I think the war between these two is far from finished. this feud must continue. And you know it's going to continue until Roxanne Perez finally gets her retribution. When will that happen? Who knows? So, 3.25. It is yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 3.25. I'll give you that. I thought it was a solid match. I think it could have been a lot more better, but it was good for what it was worth. So we'll just move on from there. Next up, we have was Tony D'Angelo versus Santos Escobar in a street fight. If Santos Escobar loses the match, he is gone from NXT. Anthony, Santos Escobar's run in NXT has come to an end. Tony D'Angelo knocks him out 12 minutes and 44 seconds. That means he's probably on his way to the main roster. Preferably, I would probably say maybe SmackDown, because it seems like lately SmackDown's been getting a lot of these new NXT guys. I don't know. Michael Bullock, Santos Escobar, his great run in NXT has come to an end.
Yeah, what was the time, Fletch?
12:44.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about maybe uh three and a quarter, 3.5. I mean, this was another solid match here. I mean, obviously with D'Angelo going over, Santos Escobar's run in NXT is over, but you say SmackDown, Fletch. I don't know about you, but how about Monday Night Raw? Because who's over there on Monday Night Raw? Who's another uh, lucha libre wrestler?
I get it that that you're talking about Rey Mysterio and Dominic, but SmackDown's lacking that Latino presence,
Oh,
and they
I
need it.
wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to SmackDown, but I'm
Yeah,
just suggesting Raw for I mean as well, just because of that. But it
yeah.
wouldn't surprise me either. But it wouldn't surprise me either way if he
No,
if
I, and I get where you're coming from, but I know that's one of the demographics that they're lacking in, and I know they want a Latin American representation, especially for Fox. I know they need it really badly. So, as much as
well,
as much as I understand your sentiment, and I totally agree that he would be a great fit for Monday Night Raw. But I know that Fox is starving for a Latin American presence. They had it with Andrade Cien Almas when they had him one time around, but they lost him when he went to AEW. And I really think they're really desperate enough to get that Latin American fan base again. Santos Escobar checks all the boxes if you're talking about SmackDown. Even though I agree with Raw that he'd be great with the Mysterios and that demographic, but SmackDown needs him more than Raw does. To be completely honest, and we all do respect here, Bullock.
that's and that's a fair opinion you bring up too, Fletch. But we'll certainly find out in time when whether we're going to see him on Raw or SmackDown. But I'm telling you, whoever gets him, I think is going to totally benefit from it. So it's just a wait and see. So that's just my opinion. It's yours, Fletch.
This was a heck of a fight, though. I'm going to give you that. I mean, this was easily 3.5 stars. Another one of those top fights of the evening, and it was really good. It was really good. It was really action packed. It was everything that it needed it to be, and the outcome was never in doubt. But I mean, like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But I'm going to say this was an incredible match. Nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
What was that time of the fall, MF?
12:44.
12:44. All right. Um, I'm gonna give this an excess of 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. I mean, you could also make an argument for 4 if you wanted to really do that, but I think 3.5 to 3.75 is the correct rating for this. As the final act in a great NXT run, the Emperor delivered once more. This was smartly booked and wrestled. With so many involved, it never became too much to follow. Everyone played their role. D'Angelo won relatively clean in the end, setting him up even more as a major threat to the NXT Championship picture. With no more distractions, he and the D'Angelo family could be truly unstoppable. The Emperor will be greatly missed in NXT, but the time is right for him to move to the main roster. Hopefully, he will get to work with the rest of Legado again one day, but he has a story to tell on his own, on Raw or SmackDown. And you noticed, NXT showed a complete video package for this feud before the match. Cruz del Toro laid out Channing Stacks Lorenzo, and then the Don punched him in the face, followed by accidentally diving into Elektra Lopez. And Legado del Fantasma was left stunned after the finish and knelt with the Emperor. But what about the epic entrance of Escobar with Legado del Fantasma? I mean, that was awesome. That entrance was one of the best I've seen in any promotion in some time. I mean, that was wow. You gotta check out that entrance. That entrance was epic. So just a personal thing for me, but other than that, 3.5, 3 3/4 of a star. Great matchup here. No surprise about the outcome, and now Escobar can now go to the main roster, and he's going to be a benefit to whoever gets him. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I mean, you can both you guys make great arguments. I mean, MF mentioning about the Latino demographic on SmackDown, that was, something they had for a long time, dating back to the original brand extension, when you had Rey Mysterio, when you had Eddie Guerrero, when you had Chavo Guerrero, and so many other Latino greats. I mean, your Alberto Del Rios and Andrade's when he was around. But on the other hand, Bullock makes a great point about Raw. I mean, because Rey Mysterio's there, and Santos would certainly benefit from a possible Rey endorsement. I mean, because that's what Rey does. Rey endorses, and he gets these young Latino talents over like wildfire. So, we're gonna have to wait and see on that. But we're gonna have to wait and find out, and I'm sure soon enough we'll find out. But wherever he goes, he's definitely gonna be a mid card boost, no doubt about it, to whichever mid card he goes to. So 3.5, 3 3/4. MF. Let's move on to the next match. Women's title time.
Well, before we get into the match, there was actually another invasion moment. Now, this one was a backstage. Indy Hartwell chatting it up with the new women's tag team champions, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. And then the champions left a message, that there was a note that was for Indy. She opens it up. It's a cute photo of Index. Apparently, Dexter Lumis left a note, a love letter, to his wife, Indy Hartwell. Indy melts and swoons, and it was such a beautiful moment, but then got interrupted by a new talent named Blair Davenport. Now, for all you NXT UK fans and for the wrestling fans around the world, this was Bea Priestley, one of the best female wrestlers in the world today. She is linked with Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre is now in New Japan, and I think she's also was linked with Will Ospreay as well. I could be wrong. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, then I apologize. But I do believe she's also linked with Will Ospreay, and she did some work with New Japan. And on top of that, she was actually in the original AEW when it first opened, when they first started. This was before everything happened. And then she had some visa issues, And then because she was not allowed to leave the country because that was right around the time when COVID hit and everything shut it down. The whole world shut down. So no talent was allowed to leave their respective countries, and no countries were allowed to come to the United States. That ended any hope for her coming to AEW. What was AEW's loss is now WWE's gain because she became one of those dominating women in NXT UK, and now another NXT UK talent has landed in the United States and a game changer in the women's division. So, be it as it may, it looks like Miss Davenport is going to be messing with India Hartwell as her first challenger before we get anywhere else. So, oh boy. You know what? I was thinking, and this had me thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that B Presley? No, that can't be her. Sure enough, the voice, when I heard that voice, I'm like, oh shit, no. What the hell is going on? B, and then Gallus? I'm like, Triple H, what do you have up your sleeve right now, bro? What are you doing? Like, you got me interested now because we're talking some of the biggest names of NXT UK coming to the NXT USA. I'm like, either there's a Worlds Collide, or is it possible that the NXT talent, the NXT UK talent, is slowly but surely starting to merge with the NXT? Could this be the end of 2.0? And could we have a possible merger of NXT USA and NXT UK under one NXT banner? Oh no. If this is about to happen, I'm telling you right now. If Ilya Dragunov comes back from the injury and joins the NXT USA crew, it's done. Michael Bullock, look out. You thought NXT Black and Gold was the baddest group in the lot? They will have once again a shot in the arm. NXT is back and better than ever if this happens. If the UK comes to the United States and they bring this fire from the UK to the US, I'm telling you right now, Tuesday nights will never be the same again because of the fact when you got Gallus, Ilya Dragunov, B. Priestley, like I said, the best of the best have come. When they had Piper Niven, who now is now being called Doudrop, but it looks like she might get her original name back. Piper Niven might get her name back. Great. Then you had Alba Fire, a.k.a. Kaylee effing Ray. I'm telling you guys, these are some of the best guys that came over. Freaking Walter, from God's sakes, came from NXT UK. I'm telling you now, if NXT UK is invading NXT USA, ooh, Worlds Collide Part 2, what they call it, the World War II of NXT. Could we get a dual fight on our hands? Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'm telling you this, Fletch. I mean, you're starting to see the Triple H effect come into play. I mean,
absolutely.
Everybody was saying NXT is dead. If you get all this going on, NXT is back in a big way. And all I can say to all those other wrestling companies, watch out.
Yeah. And I'll say this, and it looks like NXT UK is about to get sacrificed here because it looks like, and this is rumors that I'm hearing, is that I guess NXT UK is not doing well in their ratings in the United Kingdom. So it looks like what's happening is that NXT UK might actually crumble and become no more. And that's why you're starting to see a lot of these UK guys coming over. There is one more domino I haven't even dropped yet. And I gotta warn you, there will be spoilers coming up because something happened. And we'll get into the main event. But there's something did happen that we're gonna have to address in the room. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So, yes, Anthony mentioned it. It is championship fight time, as it was Mandy Rose versus Zoe Stark for the NXT Women's Championship. Mandy Rose wins the match in 11 minutes and 26 seconds, successfully defending the championship. 3 stars, great match, great ring psychology, great overall action, incredible an incredible match. And with everything that played out in this one, this was great. Incredible body of work, and more importantly, a big outcome, a big victory for Mandy Rose. She successfully defends the title. Anthony, 3 stars for me as she wins it in 11 minutes and 26 seconds.
I'm actually going to be a little more generous on this. I'm going to give this 3 1/4, teetering on 3.5. This was a solid technical match from Mandy Rose, who kept it mostly grounded. While Zoe Stark was limited by selling the knee, she told a great story of resilience as she battled through. The NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose will now pass 300 days with the gold, and she still has a few interesting challengers left. However, it will be up to NXT to make someone feel as believable as Zoe Stark did going into this. Mandy Rose slammed Zoe Stark's braced left knee on the announce table, beginning a targeted attack that also included slamming it into the steel post. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane tripped Zoe Stark, which caused the referee to throw them out. Nikita Lyons arrived to make sure they left. And then Stark connected with her belly-to-back GTS on Rose, but was unable to capitalize before the champion rolled outside the ring, with the great veteran presence there. So 3 1/4 stars for the effort here. A little teetering on 3.5. So, yeah, no, not much more to say here. You had a feeling Booking 101 was going to come into play after Zoe got the best of her the week before. So that's all I can say on that. So Michael Bullock, if not Zoe Stark, who in the bluest of blue hells is going to stop Mandy Rose and end her reign of terror as women's champion?
I really can't think of anybody right now. I mean, there are so. Who knows who's going to be next in line to challenge her? I really don't know, but yeah, 3 1/4 stars is my rating on this one as well. So, yeah, there's really nothing more for me to say on it. So it's yours, Fletch.
Now leads us into the main event of the evening. JD McDonough versus Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. Braun Breaker successfully defends the title at 13 minutes and 17 seconds. But then what happened next was Tyler Bate comes out. And as you notice, the NXT UK Championship was in the building as well. And you're like, wait a minute. Hold. The NXT champion, the UK champion, Tyler Bate? When did this happen? All right. Now, this is where I have to yell out, spoiler alert. So, if you have not seen NXT UK right now, I am warning you. Please pause the video or what I'm about to give you is spoiler alert. I will tell you right now, this is a spoiler alert. If you do not want to know what's about to happen on NXT UK, I would implore you right now not to listen to this part of the show. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to step away. If you do not want to know what I'm about to say, step away from it, mute your mics right now, because at 40 minutes and 30 seconds of actual airtime, I will be revealing some major spoilers that has to do with NXT UK and, more importantly, the United Kingdom Championship. I'm going to give you guys 15 more seconds before I drop this. All right, guys. So I'm going to give it in 5. All right, guys, you have been warned. What happened is that on this past week or a couple of weeks ago, Ilya Dragunov got injured. This stemmed from a match that he had against at NXT. He was defending the title and was being a great champion. But on the August 4th episode of NXT UK, Ilya Dragunov announced that he was going to have to drop the belt due to an injury. That injury occurred not too long ago, and the tournament for the new champion was going to be done. At the end of this tournament, it was Trent Severin versus Tyler Bate, and Tyler Bate won the title. Now, here's the spoiler. That episode has not been released as of yet. So, Tyler Bate is now a 2-time UK champion. That's why when you saw him last night, they didn't mention it on the NXT USA brand, because of the fact that that was kind of more of a surprise outcome. But whatever the case may be, yes, it has indeed happened. Tyler Bate is back, and we might be on the verge of a possible unification, or could this be that so-called NXT version of World War II about to break out, NXT UK versus NXT USA Worlds Collide Part 2? Well, whatever the case may be, this was a heck of a main event. So, Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
All right. Wow, lot to digest here. The promise of this match was somewhat delivered, as JD McDonough did attempt to wear down Braun Breaker with technical offense. However, this was far more one-sided than the story promised. While the image of JD McDonough standing up after a second spear was exciting, it may take a while to fully grasp what role he will play in NXT after this loss. Tyler Bate completed the NXT UK arrivals for the night, adding an interesting wrinkle for the immediate future. Given Vic Joseph's sign-off, we are likely to see another NXT Worlds Collide pay-per-view soon. And Braun Breaker versus Tyler Bate would be a huge main event. Oh my. McDonough sent Breaker into the turnbuckle steel, injuring his neck, which changed the challenger's focus with his technical dissection. And McDonough hit a diving Spanish fly into a brainbuster for a near fall. Champion hit a spear, but the challenger rolled outside. Fantastic stuff here. I mean, this was another 3.5, 3 3/4 star match. Very good match, to say the least. And Worlds Collide, I definitely see it happening. And, you know, it'll be very interesting to see how they go about it. But, wow. So, not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, oh boy, business has picked up again. First Gallus, then B. Priestley, Blair Davenport. Now Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate and Braun Breaker. Possibly headlining this rumored Worlds Collide event. Let's go.
Boy, I'm definitely up for that. I mean, yeah, I mean, with this, I mean, yeah, definitely sign me up for it. So, yeah, I'm going to give this 3.5 stars as well. I mean, this was a great main event, a great way to close out NXT Heatwave and to end it with that encounter. Whew, who knows what's gonna happen next? So there's really nothing more to add to it. So it's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, this was incredible. I mean, a heck of a main event, and yeah, with the emergence of now Tyler Bate, yeah, it sounds like Worlds Collide is about to go down. So, incredible way to close it. Um, I believe Michael Bullock, you lead off on this. So, Bullock, give me your final thoughts on NXT and what they did with Heatwave yesterday.
Yeah, I thought this was a good addition of a heat wave. I mean, there wasn't one bad match on this fight here or on this show, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give this about 7.5. I mean, there were some things. I mean, there a little bit of some constructive criticism, things that could have been better, but other than that, I thought this was a good show. So it's your Sledge.
7.5. I'll give that. I definitely like the rating there. This was really nicely done. So really nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 7.5 for me as well. I mean, all the matches were solid to good to great. I mean, that's all we can ask for. We got some major storyline progression, major development with the arrival of all those UK talents with Gallus, Blair Davenport, aka B Priestley, formerly of AEW, and of course the new champion Tyler Bate after the unfortunate injury to Ilya Dragunov, who won the hearts of all of us when he did the unthinkable and ended Walter slash Gunther's reign of terror. So, but it's very exciting to think about. So, not much more to say here, friends. If you thought Heat Wave last night was newsworthy, ho ho, wait till you hear what MF has to tell you about, and what we have to tell you about tonight's AEW Dynamite MF, which, oh by the way, was just as newsworthy, maybe even more so.
Yeah, it started it off with a promo segment between CM Punk and John Moxley. And, I got to say it. Punk normally being the voice, the voice of the voiceless and whatever you want to say, I kind of felt like not really his best promo at the beginning until Moxley came out. And then when Moxley came out, that's when all hell broke loose. This was absolutely phenomenal. One of the best fiery exchanges. It looks like they took the little bit of the momentum from I want to say it looked like they took some of that momentum that they had from the what happened with the WWE thing, and it turned into something really more explosive. So incredible segment. You could even say a segment of the night, obviously, no doubt. And yeah, they went at it. It was really good, really well done. I really got nothing more to say, Anthony. This was wow. Yeah, fire, intensity, whatever you want to say, they had it. It was amazing.
Ranks right up there with Punk and MJF, wouldn't you say? I mean,
Oh, without a doubt. I definitely agree with that.
because that was the first thing that went through my mind. But oh boy, okay, all right. I can understand where MF may be coming from, but with all due respect, MF, I respectfully disagree because this was a red hot opening segment that saw CM Punk pick up right where he left off back in November with his tweener style of promos, targeting top babyfaces while himself remaining immensely popular with the fans. His words cut like a knife, and during the promo, he revealed that he will square off with John Moxley at the All Out pay-per-view in Chicago. Or will he? Stay tuned. That match will be one of the most anticipated bouts of the year if the participants can keep up the heat that was omnipresent here. Throw in what should be great physical ring work, and you have every reason to believe the suddenly personal main event will be on the short list of major match of the year candidates. It'll be interesting to see if Punk makes a full heel turn in the near future, especially with the likes of Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston, and the imminently returning Kenny Omega poised to make up the top of the babyface roster. Punk saying there's someone from around these parts, and I'd like to challenge him to a rematch right here, right now. That's what Punk said before calling out the guy he beat for the AEW title at the All Out pay-per-view, Hangman Adam Page. Hangman did not appear, drawing boos. Punk exclaimed as the fans broke out in a chant of his name, "Everyone wants to be the champ until it's time to do champ bleep." And he also said Jon Moxley is the third best guy in his own group, and to me, that sounds like a recurring theme in his career. Yeah, obviously you know where he went with that. The Shield. With Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, obviously. His best friend is the third best Eddie I've ever been in the ring with. I mean, I would have to imagine maybe Guerrero was one of them, and I don't know who the other one might have been. And he also said second best Kingston I've ever shared a locker room with. Obviously, got to be Kofi.
Well, the Eddie thing, I want to say yes. One is Eddie Guerrero, the other one is Eddie Kingston, Florio.
Yeah, third best Eddie, he said. Third.
So, yeah.
All right. And he said, and then, well, we all know what he meant when he said, not even the first John I've beaten in Chicago for a championship belt. Definitely not number one there. Cena. Money in the Bank, 2011. The greatest match of the PG era. Go out of your way to see it if you haven't already. If you haven't after 11 years, shame on you. That's all I can say. Look, and then Jon Moxley gets on the mic and says, look out, ladies and gentlemen, CM Punk's dropping pipe bombs. And then Moxley claimed, you think you're the best wrestler in the world? Most of the time, you're not even the best wrestler in catering. And Punk said, you can be the heart and soul, I'll be the dollars and the cents. And then Moxley insulted Punk, saying, we both know you ran out of fighting spirit a long time ago. And Punk said, if I touch you now, I'm afraid you're going to bleed all over me. Making light of the interim champion's penchant for wearing the crimson mask. But I could probably say this might have been you remember, we talked about it Monday night on Ridiculously Raw. We talked about the WWE segment of the year with that unbelievable exchange between Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. That I don't know if any of us have still recovered from that, especially you, Bullock, because you were the one who went more nuts over that than any of us, but we all did. But I think with this one, I got to consider this AEW's promo segment of the year. So, 2 promo of the year segments in the same week. Wow, that's something. So, segment of the night, segment of the year. Michael Bullock, you heard everything that I mentioned. You heard all the bullet points I mentioned. I mean, first it was McIntyre and Owens on Monday night on Raw that we lost our minds over during our Raw chat, but tonight, Punk and Moxley, just as intense. Oh my goodness. Two promo of the year segments in the same week. Wow.
Yeah, it's not too often you get 2 promo of the year segments in 1 week, but we got it here, and man, oh man, these 2 certainly did not hold back. I mean, all the things you guys said, was just, and with the AEW World Title Showdown, which is going to be next week, or so we think, but I don't know. I smell something happening next week when it comes to that, but you never know. We'll wait and see. But segment of the night, the AEW segment of the year, so there's nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, so, well, unfortunately, Michael Bullock did actually drop it. So
he corrected himself. He said,
it's already too late because I'm gonna drop it anyway. Yeah, Michael Bullock let the cat out of the bag, folks. next week, Jon Moxley versus CM Punk for the AEW World Heavyweight title, free on TV on TBS. Next week on Dynamite. Besides, right after that, the segment right after that, the graphic popped up about it. So yeah, you're not getting it as a pay-per-view, guys. You're getting it live next week. Cleveland, Ohio, go crazy. You're getting one of the biggest title fights in the history of the company. So really nothing more to say there. Next up we had let's see. The next one we had was a 2 out of 3 falls. Daniel Garcia versus Brian Danielson. When it was all said and done, winner of the bout in 25 minutes and 55 seconds was Brian Danielson. He wins it 2 out of 3 falls. The full 3 it goes. Anthony Florio. Oh my God, what a fight!
Fight of the night. There is no absolute doubts about this one. Um, the only criticism, the only small criticism, obviously, the picture-in-picture commercials. But I gotta call this the fight of the night anyway. I'm gonna give this. I will give this an excess of 4.25 to 4.5 stars. I mean, what else is there to say here, gentlemen? That hasn't been said. I mean, the biggest takeaway here was that Daniel Garcia is a star of the future for AEW, and the teased babyface turn might be the best thing to happen to him in his young career. Sure, joining the Jericho Appreciation Society earned him considerable television exposure, but he never fit in as a so-called quote-unquote sports entertainer, given his penchant for badass technical wrestling. Blackpool Combat Club, on the other hand, has always appeared to be a better fit. Might an alliance with Brian Danielson be the end to that faction that Garcia needs to take the next step in his AEW career? Given his showing here, and the fact that his strength is in the mat-based technical style that Michael Bullock and I love so much, it would certainly appear so. And that's all there is to say on this. So this was 4.25 to 4.5 stars. The only thing keeping it from a much higher rating being the commercial breaks that occasionally hurt the flow. Garcia flattened Danielson with a pile driver that targeted his head and neck, then put him out to win the first fall with a Dragon Sleeper, apropos given the promotional tie-in with HBO's House of the Dragon. Garcia dropped Danielson with a DDT on the exposed concrete floor right in front of special guest timekeeper Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who famously endured the same move at the hands of the great Jake the Snake Roberts right here, gentlemen, in Providence, May of 1986, when they did a Saturday Night's main event, and one of the early Saturday Night's main events was right here in Providence. Jake the Snake Roberts dropped Ricky the Dragon Steamboat on the concrete with his patented DDT. Go on, gentlemen, if you haven't already. I've seen it, but if you haven't, Peacock, look that sucker up under Saturday Night's main event. And then the combatants delivered a strong count-out tease that saw Brian Danielson narrowly beat the referee's count back in the ring. Daniel Garcia utilized his opponent's own running knee against him, the Bon Psycho knee, as Excalibur put him over as a student of the game who studies opponents and uses their arsenals against them. And Jim Ross said, nobody's slapping their legs. Jim Ross said on commentary. So that's really all there is to say on this. So, incredible match. 4.25 to 4.5. This to me was the fight of the night. And Michael Bullock, I mean, what can you say? I mean, no surprise Danielson won. But after the match, with what we saw, there's no question about it. Daniel Garcia is primed for a babyface turn, and on top of that, how fitting did we get a match of this caliber with the man who made this style of wrestling, one of the many founding fathers of this style of wrestling, that got you and I into this in the first place, along with the Nature Boy Ric Flair in the Hall of Famer Ricky the Dragon Steamboat being the timekeeper.
Oh yeah, I mean, how appropriate for them to do it right in front of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I mean, that is something. And yeah, this was indeed the fight of the night here. 4.25 to 4.5 stars. I mean, what can you say about this? I mean, I certainly enjoyed this match. These two certainly put on a clinic. And yeah, Daniel Garcia, he's primed for a babyface turn. He is turning on the Jericho Appreciation Society. And you could hear the fans saying that you're a wrestler. And you know what? They are absolutely right. What you see from Daniel Garcia, he is a wrestler, not a sports entertainer like the Jericho Appreciation Society say they are. And yeah, Jericho didn't appreciate it, and yeah, and you saw backstage next week. Jericho and Garcia are going to be face to face, and Garcia is going to decide whether he's on Bryan Danielson's side or Jericho's side. I think we all know it's going to be on Danielson's side. And then that idiot Angelo Parker, well, first off, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat confronted Jericho, and Jericho basically told him to stay out of it. And then Angelo Parker reminded him of it, and then he got a chop for it. Yeah, couldn't have happened to a much nicer guy. And I know Florio, when he did that to Angelo Parker, that had to put a big smile on your face because of that. Exterminator Jabroni got what he deserved.
You damn right he did, and it was.
I just wish he could have done it to Menard as well.
And I also kind of wish he would have done it to Jericho too, because there's no love lost between those two, dating back to the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania in that handicap elimination match with Piper and Snuka.
Oh yeah, don't think Ricky the Dragon Steamboat has forgotten about that. I mean, it was that night. I mean, Steamboat proved that he still had it. I mean, yeah, Jericho won the match, but Steamboat won the hearts of everyone for his courageous performance. So, nothing else to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. So with that said, we do indeed move on with the show here, guys. And the next thing that we did have after all that chaos, we had was the Gun Club going up against the Varsity Blondes. The Gun Club wins the match in 33 seconds. And then Stokey Hathaway shows up, and the Guns turned on their father. That prompted the Acclaim to come out and chase the Suns out of the arena. But whoa! So Stokey Hathaway just pulled the Gun Club, just pulled out Austin and Colton away from Billy Gunn, and it looks like Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, scissor me daddy, let's go, is all you got to say about that. So nothing more to say. It looks like Billy Gunn has reunited with the Acclaim, and that's more than fun on that. I guess let's just say the Acclaim and the Ass Boys are not done by a long shot. So, yes, I just said it. Get over it, fans. Nothing more to say. Next up we had was a promo segment. Jungle Boy, interrupted obviously by Christian Cage. They went at it. That was a good segment. Then we had Tony Storm against Kylan King. Tony Storm won the match. 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Do you guys want to talk about it? I guess.
Yep, I'm here. Well,
I was gonna say, do you guys want to talk about the match, or do you want to go into the main event?
Which match was that? The Tony
Kylan King and Tony Storm.
Well, if you note, there was one thing. You know what? The hell with it. I'll take it for a spin. Why not? What was the time of that fall?
6:45.
Yeah. I'll give this 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star. I mean, it was a competitive match that saw Kylan King control throughout the commercial break, only for Toni Storm to come back after countering a top rope side suplex attendant to her crossbody. And Toni Storm feels like the surest thing to dethrone Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship. But that program has been underwhelming, to say the least. And a win over King, who has not been seen on AEW television in over a year, is hardly the way to build anticipation for the championship clash that has now been officially confirmed for All Out. With that said, King is a strong wrestler who probably should have been signed to the company during her last run there. Hopefully this opened up some eyes about her ability to be a player in the most inconsistently booked division in the company. And the commentary team did an adequate job of putting King over as a threat to upset Toni Storm and the number one contender as someone ready to challenge Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship. So this was about 2.5, teetering on 2 3/4. So that's pretty much all I can say. And it is official, gentlemen. Toni Storm will challenge Thunder Rosa for the Women's Championship at All Out. Bullet, did you want to give a quick thought, or you can move on? I mean,
Yeah, I'll give it about 2.5 for the effort here. You pretty much made your point on it, so there's nothing else for me to say. So it's yours, Fudge.
All right, yes, fair enough, fair enough. Main event, the trios tag team tournament begins as it was. Andrade El Idolo, Rush, and Dragon Lee, they went up against the Young Bucks and a mystery partner. The mystery partner turns out to be the returning Kenny Omega. At the end, it was the Bucks and Omega winning it 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Michael Bullock, it is all yours, my friend.
Yeah, this to me was the second best fight of the night here. I'll give this about I'll give this about 4.25 stars for this one. I mean, I just think the 2 out of 3 falls with Garcia and Danielson was just a smidget better. I mean, not to take away from this. I mean, this was just so awesome. I mean, the high flying was there. Kenny Omega, he hadn't lost a damn step. And yeah, the Bucks and Omega move on, but what happened afterward when the match was over, Fletch? Andrade turned on the what was it, Dragon Lee?
Turned on Dragon Lee. Yeah.
Yeah, and what else? I mean, the mask came off.
Yeah. You kind of started noticing he was trying to loosen up the mask, and I'm like, what are you doing? But then when he hit him with that clothesline, the mask went flying. So, yeah, I mean, whoa is what I would say about that.
Yeah, I mean, Andrade turned on the man that he brought on to be part of the team. I'm like, yeah. What the hell is he doing? I mean, but I guess there's an old saying, never trust someone like Andrade. And unfortunately for Dragon Lee, he learned it the hard way. And especially not just him, but of course that stooge, Jose. I mean, gosh, I'm telling you, Fletch, that Jose is really getting on my damn nerves. I mean, when he tripped Kenny Omega, he tried to mock what Omega does. I'm like, come on, you. I wish somebody would slap him upside his face and give him what he deserves, because I just can't stand this guy at ringside. So, but yeah, Omega and the Bucks move on, and I gotta say it, as of right now, I think they're the favorites to win this tournament. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, solid main event, very good match. Nothing more to say here. This is easily 4 to 4.25. Yes, not the fight of the night, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, they it served its purpose. It did really well. So nothing more to say. And yeah, so that's it. Florio, was yours.
4.25 stars for me. And just like that, gentlemen, the march to All Out has picked up considerably. Business has picked up considerably. Now I gotta be honest with you. I noticed this during the match. You guys know how very observant I can be about things, and I observed this. Kenny Omega may not be healthy, or he might be expertly selling the idea that he is not. But his presence was met with overwhelming positivity by fans whose love for him has never waned rather. While it was great to see him back, this is the part I observed. It is his health that will be the story of the match and the forthcoming tournament semifinal bout. You notice he sported a brace, nursed his shoulder, and barely executed his finisher to win the match. And you noticed when he made one of those hot tags to the Bucks, you noticed he might have hurt himself on that tag. He looked a little sluggish there. I don't know why, but that's just me. But is he fully back from injury? Or is this simply part of a larger narrative that will culminate with Kenny Omega rediscovering his confidence and health to win Trios Gold with his best friends? It is the most prominent and interesting story worth watching in a tournament that feels very much like a foregone conclusion. I 100% agree with Michael Bullock. Personally, if it was up to me, I'd say just give them the damn belts now, because I think they're going to win the belts, regardless of who they go up against at All Out. This was a damn good main event, elevated by the presence of the Young Bucks and their ability to show up and show out regardless of the situation. While they will always have their critics and detractors, their consistent ability to deliver in key situations is second to none. And tonight, they helped elevate a match that was more story-heavy with the Kenny Omega injury stuff than some may have expected. And you noticed Omega wore a long-sleeve black sweatshirt and shoulder brace, putting over the idea that he's not 100% healthy. The pop for Kenny's return was enormous and highlighted the love the AEW faithful have for the former World Heavyweight Champion. On the heels of the announcement that CM Punk and Jon Moxley will battle to determine the undisputed AEW World Heavyweight Champion on free television next week, Excalibur added context by revealing Tony Khan knows there will be no controlling them until All Out, so they will settle things next week. A great bit of dialogue from the lead announcer. With Rush and Jose holding Omega on the guardrail, Dragon Lee delivered a tope con hilo that sent both he and the Cleaner into the stands, and Omega executed an ugly one-winged angel, selling the shoulder injury and the story of a less than healthy former champion grinding his way to the Trios titles in support of the Young Bucks. 4.25 stars, second best fight of the night. Any other show, this would have been the fight of the night, but if it wasn't for how damn good that Danielson Garcia match was, this would have been. But it only gets second best honors, 4.25. So not much more to say here. MF, Kenny Omega's back. Business going to damn sure pick up now that he's back, along with CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. Oh boy. So overall review time.
Yeah, overall review. This is going to be an incredible event. Next week is going to be huge. One of the biggest AEW shows we're going to have in a very, very, very long time. Really nothing more to add here. Overall review, I got to give this 8 to 8.5 out of 10. Incredible AEW show. There was really nothing bad. Only one bad match, which was really the Guns versus the gun match that ended in less than 30 seconds. But
Varsity
the thing,
Blondes,
yeah. But other than that, the rest of the show was good to great to excellent, and there was really nothing bad to say. So really nothing more to add. Anthony, 8.5 for me. It's yours.
8 to 8.5. I 100% agree with the rating. Danielson Garcia, fight of the night. The main event, second best fight of the night. And only one dud match, which was the Gun Club and the Varsity Blondes. That was a dud. Women's match was solid. Not overly spectacular, but solid enough. And some great and some very good promo segments and a very newsworthy show. At first, it was said that it was going to be Punk and Moxley at the All Out pay-per-view. Now they're saying next week. It's going to be very interesting to see if they hold true to that, or if something happens and it ends up getting pushed back to All Out. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Or unless they have bigger plans in store for All Out. I don't know. But it's very surprising that we're getting that match next week. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that. So not much more to say here. 8.5. Very newsworthy show. An amazing show, to say the least. Bullock, take it home.
Yeah, 8 to 8.5 for me. I mean, this was a really good show. I mean, there was only one bad match, which was the Gun Club and the Varsity Blonde. But other than that, everything else was just solid to good to great when it comes to this. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So, Fletch, let's take it home and set it up for tomorrow's TXN Sports World.
Yeah, and we have a loaded show. Actually, with all the news that's been coming out, Anthony Flair and I, we were just talking about we're gonna have to split it up in like 2 weeks. So this is 2 weeks worth of stuff that we're gonna have to sift through. So, Anthony, do you have an idea what you want to do? Well, at least as it pertains to the content for tomorrow.
I have given it thought, MF, and I'm just gonna throw this out there as we should.
All right.
Well, one of the things I think we should discuss, Florio, is the Fernando Tatis suspension, because I got something I got to get off my chest.
Yes. Well, I didn't really want to get into that, but I know you want to get into it, so I'll accommodate Bullock, and we'll address that. It's not going to lead off though. We're not starting the show like that. We're not. So there are some indemnits that are going to be that I have made, some things that I think we should put on the burner and not really address, because a lot of stuff has come out, and I really want next week, because with next week being our season finale, gentlemen, with all due respect, and MF, I hope I have your blessing on this as the EP. I really want next week's show, our season finale. I really want us to focus more on the college football and the NFL previews. So,
okay.
So there's that. And your big three, and the finale of your big three report. That's going to start the show next week. So we don't want to do too much. We don't want to overload ourselves. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to address Bill Russell. Bill Russell with the number 6 jersey. It's going to be retired by the NBA. Some great news just came out earlier tonight, gentlemen. Dick Vitale is officially cancer-free. You know we have to.
Oh yes, baby!
You know we got to address that. So we're gonna address that. We're also gonna recap the Field of Dreams game with the Cubs and the Reds. We'll get into the Cabo. We'll get into the Deebo Samuel because of how big of a name he's become. I think he needs to be addressed. We'll get into the Cabo Caco situation. Cabo Caco staying with the Rangers. Not really necessary to address the Trouba thing, even though he is the new captain of the team. That's something we never really cover to begin with.
All right.
And we also don't really cover the MLS All-Star game. I haven't really called us.
Well, that was just because we didn't really have much
of anything.
But with the light of news that we've been getting lately, yeah, we could sack that.
Yeah. So Bill Russell's gonna start it, and then we'll address Dick Vitale being cancer free, the Field of Dreams game, Deebo Samuel, his contract extension with the Niners, Cabo Caco staying with the Rangers, Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci staying with the Bruins. MF, we'll have your latest Big Three basketball report. You've got 2 weeks worth. You got the regular season finale and the 2 semifinal games of the playoffs that went down this past Sunday. And in the main event, we're going to address the NBA schedule, because the NBA schedule came out, and we'll get into the notable games, including the Celtics Warriors final rematches, and of course the Christmas games and some other notable games that need to be addressed from opening night and how everything's going to go down. So I think that's what we should do. I think we should omit the MLS All-Star game. I think we should omit the Truba story, and those two need to be omitted. And I think we can get into everything else. And yes, I know Bullock wants to get into the Fernando Tatis thing, so I'll insert it somewhere in there. Maybe we'll make that the number 2 story, because the Bill Russell thing, that is a humongous deal. So
yeah.
We got to start with that. We have to. So we always want to start off the show on a positive. We always want to start and end the show with a positive note, and so that's all there is to say on that. So keep a lookout for my Facebook page when I post a link to this show, as I always do. I'll have the exact order, but that's really all there is to say on that. So that's tomorrow night, 10 p.m., right, MF?
Tomorrow night, 10 p.m., absolutely. Yep.
All right. So I just wanted to get into something else real quick. All right. So here we go, folks. Now that I have it, I've got it right here. So this is what we'll do. Bill Russell, the number 6 jersey being retired. Fernando Tatis suspension, 80-game suspension. Dick Vitale, cancer-free. Field of Dreams recap. Deebo Samuel staying with the Niners. Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci staying with the Bruins. Cabo Caco staying with the Rangers. MF, your second to last Big Three basketball report. And then we close it out with the NBA game schedule. Got it?
I'm good with it.
All right. So there you go. That's the order. Get it? Got it? Good. There's going to be a quiz later. Wrap it up.
I don't think there's going to be a quiz, folks. Don't worry about it. But I will say this. It will be 10 p.m. Eastern. It will be on the Tone 25. Thank you, Anthony Florio. Thank you, Michael Bullock, as always. And for you guys, thank you for making this one of the most highly watched programs on YouTube today. It is greatly appreciated, as always. We love you very much. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom, share with all your friends on all the social media platforms. Also, like and follow Anthony Florio on the Tone 25. He's also got a YouTube channel. Also, like us. We're on Twitter. Anthony will probably provide all the links at the bottom, when he does his little special thing on YouTube. On Facebook. He'll show you all the stuff. Follow us, TXN Sports World, TXN Talking Wrestling, TXN, and TXN Sports World. And until then, guys, have a good night. We will see you tomorrow for another edition of TXN Sports World. So until then, for Anthony Florio, for Michael Bullock, I am Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. So long.